Alright, hey Zig here. I'm getting ready to take the rear wheel. Oh, I'm going to swap the wheels on my bike for the street tires, alright? And so I'm going to show you how easy it is to replace the rear wheel on a Alta Redshift Supermoto, okay? It's very easy, right? And we'll go knock it out right now, okay? Okay, so I was quite amazed how easy it is to replace this tire, alright? If you needed to do a quick tire swap, it's pretty easy. The front is another question, however, check that video out. I will make a separate video on how to swap the front wheel out on this bike, or just remove it and install it, right? So there it is. That's my track tire. It's a Michelin Power Cup Evo, and I'm wanting to convert my bike back to a street bike, alright? So, so I'm going to install this wheel on there with the stock Pirelli tire, alright? And then our crappy grip will be back. So we'll say, alright. So it's got the spacers and all that stuff on there, so I should be able to just swap it really easy, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that in this video. Okay, so basically all you need is a 27mm socket, alright, and here it is, 27mm. I'm going to go be buying a couple of these since I'll be using this. I believe the 27mm works on the front as well, alright, so 27mm is all you need. Okay, so let's go ahead. So the nut, axle nut is right here. All this got to do is come out. Alright, it's 60 foot-pounds if you guys are wondering. I just wrote 60 here so I won't forget. Alright, then you got to take the right side spacer out. I have these Warp 9 Supermoto sliders, so it actually makes it kind of easier to work with. Alright, you pull this out. Okay, we're here on the left side. Then all you got to do is, what I would do is pull the axle out a little bit, alright? So the way this works is the axle block is attached to the axle, alright? So I'm just going to pull it out a little bit, alright? And then push the whole wheel forward, alright? And then you take your chain off. Or you just take the axle out and take the whole chain off. Okay, kind of like that. Okay. What I'm going to do is drop the wheel down a little bit. I dropped the bike down a little bit so I don't have to take the wheel up so much. Okay, just like that. Okay, and then we just take the axle out. Okay, try not to get it dirty. And that's it. It just comes out. You kind of have to finagle it a little bit, so it gets kind of hung up. The rim gets hung up on the brake caliper here. I'd imagine maybe on the dirt wheel it doesn't do that so much because it's narrower, maybe. And you just kind of have to finagle it out of there so it gets out. Okay. You don't have to take the brake out, do anything funky stuff. Okay, the wheel is out. All we got to do is put our other wheel in. Alright, and just kind of angle it. So that makes me wonder, what if I go to a 160 tire, will I be able to put this in? This is a 150 tire right now. Okay. So I'm trying to get that in there so the caliper will fit in the wheel. And also I'm trying to get the okay. It's in there. So now I just gotta have to make sure this goes in there, and we get our chain on there. All right, so super easy, guys. Okay, it's in there. All right, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my chain on while I got it up here. Okay, chain's on there, and then I'm going to put my axle back in. Okay, make sure the other side is lined up. Boom, right? pull the wheel back, push the axle all the way through, put the right side adjuster block back in. This is great, man. It acts as like a little handle. Alright, and then put the nut back in. Okay, here's a little trick I learned. Alright, so normally what you'd want to do is push forward on the wheel so the adjustment blocks are up on the bolts, the adjustment bolts. Alright, so you would press forward and then tighten that. But here, I'll show you a little trick that I've learned so we don't have to do that. So what you could do is get like a rag or something and put it between the chain and the sprocket, alright? And that will make the chain super duper tight, alright? And it'll push it against the adjuster blocks, okay? Okay, so with the rag in place, make it so the chain is tighter, so I'm going to roll it back a little bit, alright? And then I'm just going to tighten the nut. Okay, and just make sure there's no gap between the adjuster block and the bolt. Alright, it looks good. I'm going to rotate the tire wheel forward, just remove the rag, and then now we torque it. Okay, so the wheel should be tightened to 60 foot-pounds. Okay, that's it. All done. Okay, probably want to clean that chain, but... Alright, and so there you go. That's how you change the tire or change or uninstall and install the wheel on a Alta Redshift SM. It's pretty easy, that's what I'm going to say, alright? Unfortunately, you can't change the wheel with the paddock stand if you're having these Warp 9 axle sliders. Yes, it does have these nice spools that you can use the paddock stand with, but you can't remove the wheels with the paddock stand. You have to use like a dirt bike stand or something, okay? Or you could use the paddock stand that grabs the bottom of the swing arm, alright? But pretty cool. It's it uses components similar to like what the KTM's uses, the KTM Supermotos use, so I'd imagine it's pretty much the same process to do that. That's what I want to say. Okay. Anyway, I hope this was a entertaining and educational video. That's how you uninstall and install the wheel on the rear wheel on a Alta Redshift Supermoto.